ऑन है ऑलरेडी. Okay, friend, I have already furnished the topic that was related to prehistorical time, and now Indus Valley civilization. We switch over towards culture to civilization, and if you talk about civilization, it is again quite distinct, different thing in comparison to cultural development. So this period technically comes after what we can say that after prehistoric period, and it comes under prehistoric. The period which I finished, it was prehistoric time, and now this is the period. Technically it is known as proto-historic period or proto-historic time. It is called proto. It is what? It is proto-historic. It is what? Proto-historic. Before going in a thorough study about this topic, civilization and the cultural development which has taken place in this era, in this period, was again a different line pattern, again a different theme, again a different scenario. If we talk about civilization in a very brief way, and the concept you should know from your examination point of view, civilization is a complete system. Civilization is a complete process where social system exists, where economic system prevails, where cultural system prevails, and their political system also the main part of the system. That is what the concept of civilization. Civilization means it is a complete system. It is a complete method where a society prevails. And Indus Valley civilization, it was the most advanced civilizations of the world. And this civilization has changed the complete complexion. You can say that, transformation of society. The early society, according to the historical basis, according to the historical era, it was prehistoric period. The second gradual process which had taken place, it was what? Proto-historic period. So the first thing you have to keep in your mind, the cultural heritage part, the cultural development which took place during the time of Indus Valley civilization, it was in the era of proto-historic time. And the significant aspect of the proto-historic is what? The definition of proto-historic is what? The idea to understand about the proto-historic is what? It is a time, it is a period, it is a, you can say that, demarcating line under which the complete system evolved. Means social, economic, political, cultural system. Even though very, you can say that, organized town planning also prevailed. But apart from that, we lack seriously the development of language, the development of what we can say that language, or another one is a script. The language which developed during this period, which prevailed during this period, it is yet to be deciphered. It is yet to be deciphered. And when the language, when the script, if it is going to be deciphered, then the history, I think so, it is a matter to rewrite again the history. So each and everything, again one thing you will have to keep for the demarcating process, because without that it is not possible to understand the cultural development, the development of painting, art, making pottery from the prehistoric to proto-historic time. So understanding this demarcating line, a very clear-cut roadmap, a clear-cut concept you should have to keep in your mind. What is that? What is that? During the prehistoric times, we have only unwritten records. And these records are of what we can say archaeology. Archaeology. It was only based on, the resources were only based on archaeology. Only one-sided support system prevailed. And all the time, as I again am repeating my lecture, repeating my said version, that it was based on only the idea of what we can say that archaeological findings one way. Again, the Indus Valley civilization, which is called which comes under the pro-historic period, again all the evidences of Indus Valley civilization is again based on archaeological findings. Completely based on what? Archaeological findings. Archaeological findings. And this archaeological findings again provides us the condition and circumstances. What is that? Again probability. But in this regard, in this period, the probability nearest to the truth was more dominating feature, was more, you can say that, significant feature. On the basis of that assessment and finding of social life, social system, customary, political life, political system, political ideas, and political ideas to administer the system got a proper prominence, got a proper shape. Another important thing regarding this one, what was that? That was economic condition, economic situation, conditions. Again the economic conditions was again it was stressed in an organized way, because the system were prevailing at that time. So we were able to detect, we were able to find out the economic conditions of that period, and similarly the cultural part of that. So this is basically what we can say that civilization, and the civilization of proto-historic time. It is the civilization of proto-historic time. One more significant part also taken place in this era or in this period. On the basis of that, we can study the cultural heritage part and the contribution of culture and heritage in this significant part. What was that? The important feature, the significant part under this condition, under this scenario, under this section, which got this idea, it was from a distinct part, it was from a different part. And in this connections, the culture evolved in a sense of what we can say that sketches, drawing. And the language which prevailed during this period was known as pictographic. Pictographic. And here the meaning of pictographic is what? It is expressed. It is shown in a form of picture. It was not like that picture didn't prevail. It is not like that a script did not prevail. It is not like that a script didn't prevail. It prevailed. But our philologists, our historians, they fail to decipher it, what exactly is written there. So, if they would have been deciphered, then the scenario would have been evaluated, introspected, and assessed in a different dimension, in a different way. And the level of accuracy must be of 100%. So that is the reason why this section is also called proto-historic period, proto-historic culture, proto-historic, and the development of making different kind of images, different kind of idols, different kind of potteries, seals, and many more things. These all comes under proto-historic time, proto-historic period. And in this pictographic sense, the making of picture, the art of making picture evolved. And from examination point of view, the question may be possibly asked that when did first time the art of writing language, art of developing a script came to the prominence? This is one part of the question. And the second part of the question is what? What was the style? What was the ideas? What were the, you can say that, writing ways, whether it is from left to right or right to left? This was again considered. This was again came to the prominence. Here I would like to draw out a pictographic thing. Just you can remember it. Here is what we can say that. Here I am showing a person. I am showing a person in a matter of a sketch which has been shown in the pictographic style. Which has been shown in a pictographic style. So, on the head of this person, what is that? On the head of this person, something is loaded, kept on the head, and the person used his hand to capture it. To what? To capture it. And the person is, what is that? The person is moving by this way to this region. It is what? It is again a hut. You can say that hut. You can say that it is simply house or hut. So, this picture shows that. What is that? This picture shows that man has kept something on his or her head and he is moving towards the house. So this picture shows that. This pictographic picture shows that the motive of a man, the motive of a person, and the person is moving towards the hut, moving towards the house. So in this connection, what we decipher, what we understand about that too, the sketching work began. by this way. So the mode of communication first time came to prominence with the ideas of sketching. It is again the art. It is again the part of our cultural heritage. And this is called pictographic painting. And the style of the painting. The method of the painting was, it started from this left to right, this way, left to right, this way, right, this way. So it was the main style. It was the main style of what we can say that. It was the main style and the pattern which had taken place in this scenario. So this was the idea. This was the system evolved during the, you can say, Indus Valley civilization, and these were the ideas evolved during this period. Another remarkable thing you should have to study about from the cultural heritage point of view. What is that? You must have noticed that the art of writing, the sketching, the pictographic style. So it was the evolution of what we can say that it was the evolution of art. It was the evolution of writing of art with the help of messages. So one thing is quite noticeable. Image form of writing pattern was one of the strongest mode of communication developed during this period. So that is why Indus Valley civilization comes under proto-historic time. So the one section is clear about that too, the reason about the proto-historic period or Indus Valley civilization. One more thing you should have to keep in your mind from this point of view. What is that? This civilization was also known as, this civilization was also called, and this civilization was also known as Bronze Civilization. It was also known as Bronze Civilization. Why it was called Bronze Civilization? Because during this time, metallurgy science was evolved. And this metallurgy science provided a different space, created a different space, identifying to know with different names. How this technology evolved? Then composition of two metals. What was that? Tin plus copper. The combination of tin and copper created what we can say that bronze. So the bronze technology came to prominence in the earlier classes. I have already said about the first metal which developed and came to the prominence and people started that metal was copper. And shifting towards, the progress towards was what? It was bronze. So this civilization is also known as Bronze Civilization. From MC point of view, you can answer the prelims questions in these connections. So what is the combination of how the bronze alloy formed, developed? It was the combination of tin plus copper, it is bronze. Another thing which came to prominence was what? Bronze technology. This technology was also one of the integral part of the system. That is why this civilization was also known as Bronze Civilization. In Bronze Civilization, the noticeable thing that we should study, and the syllabi of UPSC has also been structured on the pattern of that, because Indus Valley civilization was the civilizations of the world If we talk about in the context or counterpart of India, this civilization has a very strong contribution, a strong reflection, a strong, you can say, impact, plus survival and continuity. Two things, survival and continuity. Many civilizations evolved during this period, during this time. In the parallel, the civilization of China evolved. And this civilization was in the east. In the parallel way, again another civilization evolved and developed. It was the civilization of Nile River. It was in the west. In the same way, in the northwestern region, another civilization evolved and developed. That civilization was Mesopotamian civilization. And in the southern region of the Asia, Indus Valley civilization evolved and developed parallelly. The significant part of the Indus Valley civilization is, and it is one of the strongest part of our cultural heritage. What is that? It keeps a complete character. It keeps a complete system, ideas of what? Survival and continuity. The meaning of survival and continuity is what? Whatever the thing prevailed at that time during Indus Valley civilization. What were the cultural activities prevailed during the Indus Valley civilization? What were the tradition, primitive tradition, civilization's tradition prevail in the Indus Valley civilization? Even though the pastime, even though the ideas of philosophical beliefs and religion, they also formulated a very strong base at that time. And it also prevailed in our existing society. The extensive part I'll discuss in a later as my lecture continue to progress. But one significant part you should have to keep in your mind. The continuity still prevail, and it still prevail from the very basic structure, of our construction of buildings, construction of monuments, construction of houses, construction of houses for the elite section of the society, middle group of the society, and the people, those who are living in the lowest strata. Lowest strata means the people, those who comes under unprivileged class, menial class, worker class. We will find these things from that era to this time. This is one part of it. It is the part of settlement. It is the part of establishment. It is the part of planning and establishment of human life. And apart from that, the system to roll over the machinery of the governmental system, the system to continue the mode and methodology of running the government machinery. That is the part of politico-administrative system. It was prevailed at that time, and still we are living in the system which is prevailing in the modern democratic globalized world. Again, a very clear-cut demarcating line, a very clear-cut segregation, separation of trade and business, trade and economy, even agriculture practices. And one of the remarkable things that should not be neglected, it is what? It is industrial town, industrial city. This was again one of the prominent part of it. So in this connection, in this way, the complete cultural heritage sections for the aspirants of civil services, whether they are going to appear in the first stage, that is prelims examination, and the second stage, that is what means examination, and the third stage, that is what interview. And overall this cultural aspect is one of the prominent part of values, one of the important part of ethics, one of the important part of what? Integrity and aptitude. Unity and integrity and value system, it is what? These are interlinked system, and it strengthens the ideas of mind, ideas of a person's to take a decision in a very judicious way. So this prepared a complete background of the complete Indian system, and its reflection and its impact which prevail in our society, and we can thoroughly understand about to what extent we have achieved till date, to what extent we are able to develop our whole scenario, whole system. Okay? Now I'm coming to the pinpointing point that is very much important from examination point of view. A simple question arises, a very simple question arises regarding the development of Indus Valley civilization. One of the important part of this development of Indus Valley civilization is what? A very prominent question you should have to keep in your mind, and it is the complete base of your heritage part. It is the complete base of your structure of the roots of your social system, cultural system. If the question arises, why Harappa and Mohenjo-daro? This is one question. Why Harappa and Mohenjo-daro? The second question, why Indus Valley civilization? Why IVC is known to the whole world? What is the strongest point? What is the strongest component or element of this civilization? Why it is known to the whole world? A one-line answer, you can say that word answer, you should retain. If this answer you could manage to retain, I don't think so. You may feel any other problem of answering any question related with concept, related with interpretations, logic, assertion, reason. Any question related with what we can say that fact and accuracy. So the root, where the root lies? The root lies with the answer of what we can say that earliest example of civics and planning. This is one of the important, this is one of the roots you should have to keep in your mind. If you say that, if you call that planning, it is a big thing, it is not easy thing at all too. Another thing, if you talk about civics, it is again very, very, very prominent part of it. Means the civics has a complete message. It is a complete information. Your aesthetic sense of living, that comes under civics. What way you live, what way you plan to live, what way you work, where you used to work, what are the mode of communication to go and come to that place, what is the way of your life, what is the priorities of your life, and what way these priorities are going to achieve and fulfill, the complete system and it become a complete phenomena. That is the gravest meaning. That is the deep root question of the answer. Earliest example of civics planning. And this gives a very strong message. The planner of that city, the designer of the city, they are very conscious people. And they plan each and everything on this line. So the people were very organized. The people were very much civilized. The civic sense and civil society was also very much organized. And all the patterns, all the system, all the ideas were completely designed, developed on a scientific line. And that is why it was a civilization, and civilization known to the whole world because of town planning and because of civics. This fundamental thing you should have to keep in your mind. Simply because if you talk about planning, without the planning, no cities in the world. And if you talk about India in the latter part of its organize a planned city. Chandigarh is the best example of it. Then Job Charnock, they also planned Calcutta. That is another part of that. If you talk about another medieval cities or early, you can say that late phase of medieval period, it is again Quli Qutub Shah who designed and developed what we can say that the region of Hyderabad, cities like that. So these were the planned cities in the late medieval, early modern period, and it came to the prominence. Same way in Indus Valley civilization, there were three major cities. Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Dholavira. This is the biggest site. This question comes in the prelims examination. Which among the following is the biggest Harappan sites? Your answer should be, it is Dholavira in the region of Gujarat. These are the sites, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. This is located in Pakistan. And if you talk about Harappa is located in the northern sides. If you talk about Mohenjo-daro is located in the southern sides of Pakistan. These were the sites. And all these three sites are very well known in a form of what we can say that in a form of metropolis city, acropolis or metropolis city. And we have the continuity. That India has also the metropolis city like Calcutta, Bombay, Madras or Chennai, Bengaluru and Delhi. This is again what we can say that planned city, planned town. So this concept prevailed from the past times. Now the question arises, and that is the part of our cultural heritage. We should study about these planned cities. What way and what idea and what way our cultural heritage also maintained on this line. So that is the significant part of the system, and this significant part of system can be elaborated in a different way. Because I would like to make a briefing regarding this one the pattern. And in the latter part I will switch over to how the portrait evolved, how the jewelry evolved, how the metal work evolved, what way it helped for the, you can say, making of our heritage part of it. If we talk about Harappa, Mohenjo-daro or Dholavira, apart from that, we also find out different places, houses were one part of it. Then what we can say that markets, these were the another part of it. Again, if you talk about that storage facilities, it was again another part of it. Another great bath, again it was significant part of that. If we talk about India, if we focus about India, the another important part was Ropar, then what we can say that Lothal, then what we can say that it is again Dholavira, then the place Rakhi Gadhi, then Kalibangan, it was again the part of that, then Balthat, this is again the place at Rajasthan. So these were the important sites of Harappa, where we find a numerous, you can say that, sites and numerous things in the part of cultural heritage section. So in this part of heritage sections, I would like to throw the light on the ideas of what we can say that architectural or monumental progress which had taken place during this period. And it is the part of our cultural heritage. If you talk about Harappa, if you talk about Mohenjo-daro, the significant part we find, this is again very noticeable. What was that? This is what? This is rectangle. This is what? Rectangle. Again we consider it is what? It is rectangle. It is rectangle. You consider in this map like this is Harappa, this is in short Mohenjo-daro, and this is what? Dholavira. One of the significant thing you should have to keep in your mind, and we reflect in this architectural progress, architectural ideas. So here we are finding here the two bases. The bases are made of what we can say a rectangular shape. Rectangular shape, and it is what? East. Direction is west. East and west. These are the direction we find here. The first one, the one is well fortified city, and this is called upper city. This is called upper city, and it was located on elevated point. And another one was, it is fortified. FC means fortified cities, and another was NFC, non-fortified cities. And it was upper city, it was what? It was upper city and it was lower city. This was the shape of what? Harappa. If we talk about Mohenjo-daro, again this was designed, this was developed in a pattern of what we can say that again fortified cities and upper regions. It is what we can say that non-fortified cities, and these were not fortified. So these were fortified and these were non-fortified. This is the significant development. This is the significant feature of what we can say development of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. So this is what? This is the planning. On the basis of that, they designed, they developed this, you can say, the pattern of designing, planning of designing, construction of what we can say that cities. The third city, again it is a unique feature of what we can say that the civilization of Harappa or Indus Valley civilization. What we find here? We find here 2 fortified cities, and the third one was non-fortified city. And perhaps it was the biggest city we discovered in India. In India. Again, it is a question, if you talk about prelims examination, the option may be there. Which among the following was the largest city, biggest city of Indus Valley civilization? This is one part of question. One question. Second question, which among the following city was fortified in two ways, and it was bifurcated under three sections, two fortified cities and one non-fortified cities? Another question regarding the preliminary examination, what were the locational basis of this cities? Your answer should be east-west kind of things too. So that thing you will have to keep in your mind. Now from heritage point of view, what is the significant part of the cities? Significant part of what we can say, this idea. All the cities. So first you have to understand about that. What was the purpose of making a fortified city and making a non-fortified city? The difference between the fortified and non-fortified. It was a protected city. It was a protected town. And the most of the elite section of the society used to reside in this region. And there were possibility of making a gate, entry time and exit time of the gates. So entry time and exit time. Another question arises, why and how? What was the significant part of it? Basically, this city was fortified and it was barricaded, and the entrance, only one entrance was that too. So what is the importance? What is the significance? This is the part of your prelims question. So this shows that to protect the people not from flood, not from foreign invaders, not from, you can say that, another kind of thieves, dacoits and all that too. It is only to protect them from wild animals. So this is the idea behind that too. So that the elite section, so it clear-cut make a demarcation of that. There were two major sections of society that were apparent in that part too. So on the upper cities, it was a fortified town, well-built town, designed in a very organized way. In the lower city, the majority people or the people of the common, you can say that interest, or you can say that common mass used to reside in that pattern. So what is the heritage point of view? What is the cultural part of that too? The city, the town, major town which was developed on the basis of what we can say that rectangle. So it was cut through on right angles, equal distribution, right angles. This is one of the important part of it. So a complete design, east-west, north-south, this was the significant part of that. The reason that the cleanliness and hygiene should maintain. And all the cities, what is that? All the cities were connected to, you can say that, a well-designed, developed drainage system. And it used to keep manholes. It used to keep manholes. Because the drains of the different regions The drains of different regions used to unite on the main point from where the water used to, you can say that, exit to the different regions, not on the river to make a polluted kind of things. So the manhole, again if you compare it, it is what? It is a part of manhole, a complete thing. It is a manhole drain, the complete drain, the major drains of the, you can say, city or the regions, you can say unite or come to the one main point, that was manhole, from where the bifurcation of, you can say that, water, you can say that, drain out to the different exit regions. So this created a sense of reducing any kind of rainwater or any kind of water logging from the town. This was one of the prime concern, and it was one of the important, prime, significant part of a civic sense. Another important feature for which the Harappan people known to the whole world and its civilization. So there were slabs, and the purpose of these slabs were to cover the drain. So this is again one of the important aspect, one of the important thing which developed during this period. So covering of the drain, the slabs were used to cover the drain, and in normal sense three type of drains were built. One drain was drain in the houses, and it was developed by wooden. It was developed by wooden, so that the house may not, you can say that, find any dampness. These were the wooden drains. We find the wooden drains. Another drains, they were small drains. They were the open drains. They were what we can say that open drains. And open drains, the concept of open drains were what? So the water can be easily ease out. Then at the time and conditions, if it is required, then the man manually can, you can say that, get emptied the drain. So man manually can, you can say that, draw up the water, and you can say that flow to the normal conditions. So it can be like that too. Another important thing we also find in this region, we also find certain soak pits. Soak pits, what is that? The flow of coagulated water, the flow of water should come on a pit. The flow of water should come and collected in a pit. In the free time, again, this water was utilized for the purpose of either, you can say, gardening purpose, or any kind of what we can say that a small part of watering the plants. So these were the concept in the ideas of hygiene sense. And again, it is the part of our heritage. It is the part of our culture. What way aesthetically and how the people were aesthetically so much sound, so much advanced, so much developed to organize these pattern of life, this system of life, these ideas of life. That is why the Indus Valley civilization is known for. Another important thing I would like to highlight in the part of our heritage. What is that? The roots were bifurcated on rectangle. Rectangle. Another important significant part is what? The entrance. What is that? The exit and entrance. If you talk about exit, if you talk about entrance, normally people used to enter in the house from the backyard. used to enter in the house from the back side, not from the front side. Do you know the tricky aspect of this question? Topic is what? Why people used to get entry not from the main road? They used to take their entry from back of the door, from the back of the lane. Why? Because if the main doors of a settlement's living home, living house opens in the main gate, main road, what is that? They may suffer from heavy pollution. They may suffer from different kind of dust. They may also not protected from, you can say that, any antisocial elements. That is the part of that. Nowadays, what is the thinking of a common man person if you compare it from the time of that period? What you will find? We find that at that time people keeps a very strong aesthetic sense, and due to that aesthetic sense, people get their entry from back of the door. They took their entry from back of the door. And that back of the door protect them from every kind of pollution, whether it is noise, whether it is dust, whether it is smoke. Nowadays, it became, what we can say that, it became a system. It became a phenomena. What is that? A house, a building, which opens their main gate at the main road. That is the most precious part of it. That is very costly. That is very much, you can say that, prominent building of that place too. So this is the thinking pattern of nowadays. So this is the heritage part, which reveals that people should learn what way we were organized in our past days. What way our sense of hygiene was so much organized. What way we aesthetically, we the people were very much developed and advanced. This is what we can say, the pattern to learn about the civic sense of that time. Another important significant part, again we notice that in the upper cities, or what we can say that fortified cities, normally the construction of houses were shown. The constructions of houses were shown like a house is constructed with 2-3 rooms. Then it is toilet. Then this is the part of what we can say that kitchen. This is the part of what we can say that. This is the part of bedroom. Then it is the part of what we can say that big another rooms too. So we find, and this is what? This is the sense of courtyard. So the building were designed, the elite section of the society used to reside in 2-3 rooms, apartments, you can say that, rooms, you can say that. They could use to manage a separate toilet, bathroom, kitchen kind of things too in the upper cities or fortified city. If you talk about the lower city or the city where the major mass working class used to reside, they used to reside in a pattern of what we can say that barrack form. It is in a form of what we can say that it was in the form of barrack. It was in the form of what we can say that barrack. It was in the sense of barrack. So a big, you can say that construction that is supported by different type of rooms, and apart from that They have a common toilet, common toilet bathroom. They have also what we can say that cooking house. They used to cook in a combined way. Common kitchen we find in this connection. So it was designed as a barrack, and this barrack was for the menial workers, common man, common masses. So this again shows that they have a very strong sense of what we can say that civilized system to live in a different way, in different pattern. Another important thing before switching over to other aspect of Great Bath and another aspect of living system of storage and all, I would like to throw the light on the major sites. That is the important site of what we can say that the site of Dholavira. Dholavira is one of the recently discovered site. It was discovered by J.P. Joshi, Jagpati Joshi, in the era of 1990s. He discovered this site and he did a lot of works on this site. This site was uniquely designed and developed. And what way and what were the ideas regarding this one? The first city was also fortified. The second city was also fortified. But the third city, it was non-fortified city. This shows that the segregation of society, the pattern of segregation of society was segregated under 3 sections, 3 parts. And the 3 section in 3 parts, what is that? In 3 section and 3 parts, the one was fortified. It means the elite section of society. Another one, again another elite section of society. It was second part. And the third thing, it was again the part and parcel of that too. Elite sections. So what is that? The society was divided into 3 classes. Elite, then aristocratic, then what we can say that working class. So elite, middle class, and what we can say that menial class. Here one thing could be guessed in a very clear-cut way according to the archaeological evidences, according to the archaeological findings. This can be said that, you can say that, express that. Due to this site is so much extensive and extended, that is the reason why it was fortified under 2 segregated system. So the explanation of this archaeologist is that this is due to extended site. So the first part was also fortified, the second part was also fortified, and the third part was not, you can say, fortified. Again, if you see the planning of that too, same way, rectangle was the major base of planning, and east-west was the major direction of this sites too. And a complete system, as I told you, as I expressed in my lecture, as I deliver the information to you, what is that? Due to civilization, all the complete setup, whether social, political, economic and cultural things, all the things prevailed in this matter and period. Now coming to the point, from survival, continuity and cultural heritage part. And the cultural heritage part, apart from that, the technical skills or the technology which evolved during the period And this technology part is the part of survival and continuity of Indus Valley civilization. One of the significant feature was what? Building structure. Building structure. If you talk about the idea of building a structure or construction of building, you may find that seeing any kind of monuments, seeing any kind of building, seeing any kind of or visiting any kind of a structure, building, monument or palaces or living houses, this clearly give a very strong message. And the very strong message is what? The very strong message of mindset of a person, thinking process of a person, thought process of a person, an idea of a person. You can perceive. Because construction, living room, the idea of living system of a person or personality or of a family, it clear-cut give a very strong message that what type of thought you have, what type of person you are, what thought of attitude you possess, and a complete way of life come to the prominence, come to the prominence. This is a significant part of life system. Even though if you compare it to the present society system ideas, if you visit to a common man's house, you can draw out a common man's idea. If you visit to a certain aristocratic person or a person whose percentage are only 1% or minus 1% kind of things too, their thought living system is totally different. Their house pattern is totally different. The entry exit are different. The color and design are different. The ambience is quite different. And this shows that the thought of a person, the perception of a person, the ideas of a person, this concept you should have to conceive for your mains writing point of view. So, monument, building, a structure, houses and apartment, it shows the thought, thinking process of a man, ideas of the man, aptitude of a man, personality of the person overall. So, building a structure which begins in the Indus Valley civilization, it was very scientific, designed with aesthetic sense, developed with aesthetic sense, and whatever the architectural requirement from scientific point of view, it was again inducted in that. And that is the matter to learn from the mains point of view, civil services main point of view, from the heritage point of view. So let's start from the very roots, very basics, to what extent these people were so much advanced. And where we stand right now, are we competing with the idea which were evolved at that time? Are something we achieved, what they did in their past, the skills they utilize, the technology they utilize, what are the major differences? Because all the tools, all the technology, all the system developed or advanced or progress, it is also the matter of environment. It was also the matter of climatology. It is also the matter of geography, and it is also the matter of topography of land. And topography of land is one of the basic convention of construction, design, building, and the matter of, you can say that, civil engineering. So the people started their ideas as I have given you the approach, as I have given you the system of approach through which the system progressed and the system also, you can say that, advanced. The base was, as I said you earlier, so rectangular. So the planning normally used to organize design on a rectangular way. The base happens to be, the ideas happens to be based on what we can say that rectangular. The base was rectangular. Another noticeable feature we find, and again it is a part of artwork, it is a part of craft and technological work. What was that? The basic thing for making a building was what it is? It is what? Brick. B-R-I-C-K-S, bricks. In Indus Valley civilization, the normal types of bricks utilized for construction of the houses and construction of any kind of living system, any kind of, you can say that, living apartment or houses, whether in the form of storage, whether it in the form of great bath, whether in the form of dockyard, whether in the form of normal houses. So the basic components, the basic need which required to build the system was based on what we can say the basic thing, bricks. If you talk about the bricks in present day, again we use bricks for making building, isn't it? Again we use bricks for what? For making different type of buildings. So now see here, look here, what way the things corroborated this idea from the heritage point of view. Because for the mains examination, the question has already been asked that water management system of Indus Valley planning and system. So it may be asked a question that too, that construction of building, basic style of system, basic components of building, a specific feature of that too. So in that context, I feel very much it is important and critical to answer it. Without understanding the concept and fact, it is very difficult to write it. Okay? So listen, what is that? The first thing is, it is quality number 1 bricks, and this brick was sun-baked bricks. It is what? It is sun-baked brick. The brick which was used, it was sun-baked brick. The second variety of brick which was used, it was fire-baked. What was it? It was fire-baked bricks. The third variety of bricks used by the Indus Valley people were, it was sawn bricks. It was what? It was sawn. S-A-W-N, sawn bricks. And the fourth variety of bricks which were used by the Indus Valley people, it was simply mud bricks. Mud bricks. So these were the 4 variety of the bricks used by the Indus Valley people. And one more interesting thing I would like to highlight regarding that, and it is the part and parcel of what we can say that UPSC prelims question. The question frequently asked in the early examination pattern of civil services. For making dockyard, the use of which kind of bricks were a dominating or prominent part of that. For making granaries, the larger number of bricks were used of among the following. Which one? Sun-baked, fire-baked, sawn bricks, and all these things. Here one thing I would like to highlight, I would like to make it clear that I think you must be finding a new things. What are sawn bricks? Actually, sawn bricks are what? A brick which is or a bricks which are cut down by the saw. A brick or bricks that are cut down by the saw. Why it is cut down? Why it is cut down? Because it is going to be used for the purpose of making the corner of the houses. What is that? For the making of the corner of the houses. Normally, for the corner of the house, normally this kind of bricks are utilized or used. And the cutting equipments which were available to the Indus Valley region, it was saw. And till date, if they talk about the carpenters, those who use the saw, again the shape, size, design and the pattern of the saw is like that. Just imagine about that. What sort of technology, what sort of technique evolved and developed during the Indus Valley civilization. You can imagine about that. And this saw were used for cutting down this kind of bricks, and this kind of bricks were normally used for the corners of the houses, for the corners, providing them a proper shape of the houses. And these kind of bricks were of both the variety. It was of sun-baked as well as it was of what we can say that fire-baked. Both kind of things. Because if some were places, if it is required to make a corner where you can say that the sun-baked bricks are required, it can be made out on that line. In some of the places, if the requirement of making the corner for a fire bricks or very strong bricks or stable bricks are required, then this kind of bricks were used. Is that clear? Now come to another point, that sun-baked bricks. Again, if you take the shape of the bricks nowadays, more or less, the shape, the size of the bricks are almost the same. It may be minor variable part of it. And the fourth one variety of bricks were what? It was a mud bricks. Mud bricks means wherever for the making, you can say a complete slanting, a leveling. So the purpose of this mud-baked bricks, it was normally used to be a kind of dough, a kind of what we can say that swampy. So this kind of bricks were used for making finishing, making furnishing. And furnishing was also one of the important counterpart of what Indus Valley civilization, architectural works. So these were the basics. So basics number one is what? The topography of the land. And after that, nowadays what it used to happen? Soil testing is also one of the feature, one of the important part of it. And at that time, again, there must be certain ideas, certain system must have been prevailed for developing or testing the soil pattern of the time too. And this soil pattern again required the material used to make the things for a purposeful way. So the point number one is, as I have already discussed to you, what is that? That is rectangle shape, that is the base. And the variety of bricks utilized, there were 4 variety of bricks, and all the variety of bricks were utilized for a different kind of a structure, for the different kind of requirement. Because for the settlement, I have already discussed that all the establishment require different kind of requirement. On the basis of that, this was designed and developed. Second important feature, second important part of this heritage and technological development is what? To style. Whether that style is still prevailing, whether that style is still, you can say, making the continuity of the culture, continuity of the civilization. The technique which were adopted during the Indus Valley civilization, does it prevail? Did it matter a lot? Or what? New development has taken place. This shows a parameter that to what extent we achieved a proper landmark from that 3000 BC to the recent 21st century. What is that? So the method we use normally in nowadays, or the earliest part of that too, we adopted, and Indus Valley people adopted the pattern of English bond system. The pattern of what? English bond system. The system which evolved during the Indus Valley civilization was what? It was English. It was English bond system. It was what? It was English bond system. And in our houses nowadays, we abide by this system. It doesn't make any change. It didn't have any, you can say that, it didn't have any ideas of change pattern in the complete system, in whether in urban cities, whether in villages. This pattern, this design is called English bond method. And again the question arises from UPSC point of view. What is that? The recent day, the practices of making home, the practices of building home, the construction of home, whether it is metropolis city, whether it is urban city, whether it is, you can say, village and rural areas, we normally adopt this English bond method. And this method also prevailed during the Indus Valley civilization. Many more structure we can find which evolved during this period, and it is making a continuous process. It is also making a period of development in this period. And another thing, another method, another technique developed globally and which is also acceptable, that method, that technique is known as French bond method. This is what? This is French bond method. And this method evolved in the modern times. In the times after the Renaissance period, this method also evolved. This is the costliest method. This is the costliest method. This method is also difficult because nailings normally used to corroborate it under the system. And this system is well, you can say, elongated. It is also covered with the nailing pattern, nailing. And this is what? French bond method. It is what? It is French bond method. So, Indus Valley civilization has also given, enlightened our civil engineering part of it. Civil engineering became also the part of it, and it was the prominent feature of that too. Whether it is mains examination or prelims examination, you should have to keep your knowledge intact while understanding about the contribution, heritage and survival and continuity of what we can say that Indus Valley civilization. Now I am coming to the point. During that time, during the civilization, another thing which evolved and developed. So the complete city, as I told you earlier, the complete city was segregated under different features, different, what we can say that, significant part as per their utility. Another important noticeable feature is what? The complete city, complete planning was based on metropolis city. The first part of it. The second part of the second metropolis city, or you can say that acropolis or acropolis. The second one was port cities. The third was common town. Common town. So metropolis city, then port cities and the common town. And we also find the concept of industrial cities. There were also industrial cities during the Indus Valley civilization and planning. So in this way, in this connection, we should have to understand about that too. These all the cities were evolved, developed in a very organized way. But one thing that is remarkable and that should understand on the basis of that too, utility of things, that is from examination point of view. Three important things that is very much significant, that is very much remarkable. I am highlighting very precise part of that. First one is dockyard. Another one is granaries. Another one is great bath. This is very significant part of it, and the question has been asked from prelims point of view and the prelims examinations. If you talk about dockyard, the question has been asked that too, the maximum number of bricks utilized for making the dockyard, and there is very obvious and prominent question. The bricks which were used for making the dockyard, it must be fire baked bricks. Fire baked bricks, because the retention of water and all the time these bricks used to dip, used to submerge in the water, and that is the major requirement, that is the major purpose for making the dockyard. And dockyard which was designed and developed during the Indus Valley civilization period, it was not natural. It was what? It was man-made. The dockyard was what? It was not at all man-made. It was a natural dockyard. And the system of dockyard prevailed till recent times too. So this is one of the significant part of that too. And this dockyard shows that they have a well organized trading activities. They have especially the port cities. According to the port cities, the system of the port cities were again different, distinct from other part of it. So that is one of the significant part of that. Okay? Another part is granaries. We find the rows of granaries 6 in a row. 6 in a row. We find the granaries 6 in a row. So what is the significant part of these granaries? The significant part of the granaries were what? The base. In the base of the granaries, the maximum number of baked bricks were used. Why? To protect the grains from the seepage. The other section were used by sun-baked bricks, and the other part of it were used by what we can say that mud bricks, so that making the things leveling. Just imagine about that too. How the people were advanced, how the people were aesthetically, how the people have civic sense, was so much organized, was so much developed part of that too. So this is again the part of our heritage. This is again the part of our culture. This is again the part of our survival and continuity. Again, I'm coming to the point of what we can say that Great Bath. If you talk about Great Bath, again it is very much significant part of human life. The Great Bath shows that without the cleanliness, without the sense of hygiene, without the sense of aesthetic sense, the performance or performing of ritual is quite impossible. That is one of the important aspect of what we can say that the building of, the development of Great Bath during the Indus Valley civilization. The development of what we can say that Great Bath. What was the significant part of the Great Bath? If we talk about the significant part of Great Bath, before doing any kind of rituals, people used to take bath, and after taking bath, there was an arrangement of what? Arrangement of rooms. Arrangement of rooms. People must used to change their clothes. People, after getting bath, after cleaning themselves, they must used to keep themselves dressed up. People must used to keep them dressed up, and it is well organized by a veranda, by a courtyard. So after taking bath in this, and all these made on the basis of what we can say that stairs. Bricks were one of the major system. Apart from that, if you talk about it, what is that? Bricks were also the part of the systems too. So again, it is a prelims question that what sort of bricks were used for the making of Great Bath. Your answer should be it is completely fire baked bricks. People after taking bath stand to the stairs and they go to this kind of rooms to change, for changing clothes. So this is one of the important aesthetic sense. This is one of the